Africa is not just the oldest cradle of human life, it is the place where every heartbeat on Earth began. But behind this extraordinary truth lies a story more complex, more dramatic, and far more inspiring than most people ever learn. This is the untold journey of how humanity came to be, and why Africa was the only place on Earth where it could happen. To understand why humanity began in Africa, we must travel back more than 7 million years, to a planet unrecognizable from the world we know today. The Earth was hotter, wilder, and filled with predators that modern humans would never survive. Yet in this chaos, something remarkable was taking shape, a series of evolutionary experiments that would eventually lead to us. Scientists used to think human evolution was a straight line, from ape to early human to modern Homo sapiens. But Africa tells a very different story. Our evolution was not a ladder. It was a massive, branching tree, and almost every one of its branches grew from African soil. It begins with Sahelanthropus chadensis, one of the earliest known hominins, discovered in modern-day Chad. It walked upright, long before it thought like a human. Upright walking was the first great leap, freeing our hands, unlocking new survival strategies, and setting the stage for everything that followed. But Africa's shifting climate was the true architect of our evolution. The continent transformed over and over again, from dense rainforests to expanding savannas to arid desert landscapes. Each climate change was a test, and only the species that adapted survived. As forests shrank, our ancestors had to travel farther for food, observe more, think more, and innovate. Africa's extreme unpredictability didn't threaten human evolution, it created it. From this pressure emerged Australopithecus, the ancestor of famous Lucy. They were small, clever, and agile, able to navigate both trees and open plains. But evolution was accelerating. Around 2.5 million years ago, something appeared that had never existed before. Homo habilis, the handy man. For the first time in history, a species began shaping stone, creating tools to cut meat, break bones, and survive in ways no animals ever had. Africa's ecosystems forced intelligence. They rewarded creativity. They punished stagnation, and they gradually sculpted the most adaptable creature Earth had ever seen. Then came Homo erectus, the first true world traveler. Born in Africa, they mastered fire, hunted in coordinated groups, and took the first steps out of the continent. But not all of them left, and in Africa, evolution continued. From this lineage, around 300,000 years ago, something extraordinary emerged. Homo sapiens, the first anatomically modern humans. We did not appear suddenly. We were shaped by countless ancestors, countless extinctions, and countless evolutionary dead ends. But when Homo sapiens emerged, we were different, dramatically different. Our brains reorganized. We developed language, abstract thought, symbolism, and imagination. We could plan ahead, dream, cooperate, and form communities larger than any other primate species. And this revolution didn't happen in Europe. It didn't happen in Asia. It happened in Africa. Because Africa had the perfect mixture of genetic diversity, environmental pressure, and survivable climates necessary to produce us. Africa is the only continent where humans existed long enough, continuously enough, and in large enough populations for evolution to experiment, fail, retry, and ultimately succeed. Even today, Africa has more genetic diversity than the rest of the world combined. Proof of humanity has deep roots. But the true question remains, if humanity began in Africa, why did we leave? Around 60 to 70,000 years ago, a small group of Homo sapiens, no more than a few hundred individuals, left Africa through what is now the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. They did not know they were beginning the greatest migration in human history. They didn't know they would populate every continent, build civilizations, and ultimately reshape the planet. What pushed them out? Climate fluctuations, droughts, competition, or perhaps curiosity, the most human trait of all. Those who remained in Africa didn't stop evolving. Powerful kingdoms arose: Nubia, Oxum, ancient Egypt, Great Zimbabwe, the empires of Mali and Songhai. Africa's history is not the story of a single cradle. It is the story of an entire continent that cultivated human resilience, creativity, and diversity for millions of years. So why did humanity begin in Africa? Because nowhere else had the right conditions. Because Africa was vast, diverse, and ever-changing. Because its landscapes forced adaptation and innovation. Because its ecosystems rewarded intelligence. And because evolution takes time, enormous amounts of time, and Africa is the only place where that uninterrupted timeline exists. Every person alive today, every nation, every culture, every language is connected by a shared origin, a shared beginning, a shared homeland. Africa is not just where humanity started, it is the place where humanity was forged. And no matter how far we travel, no matter what worlds we might colonize in the future, our story always leads back to Africa, to its soil, to its ancient winds, to the birthplace of us all.